Yeah, the boys were hungry. They want to start. Let's go.
Let's go. It was suddenly we were there. Draft has already begunstered, same as last week. Akali first pick, something we've seen across several nations where it was picked up. And the bans, of course, as we can see, Lulu, Silas, Karma being taken away from Northern Lions, and they are on their part taken away. Ezreal, Bard, and Thresh, as we do see Lee Sin being picked up by Northern Lions as their first pick. Gonna see what we can expect here in this second pick.
Yeah, Licit, of course, a huge flavor of the month in the top lane these days, also in LEC and in my ranked games for some reason. We see him everywhere. He's just very, very strong at the moment and obnoxious to play against with that constant threat of the E being brought down upon you. Xinzhao being locked in as well, one of Void Hopper's most played junglers, so he'll be very happy to pick up that comfort pick for him.
Yeah, Xinzhao is after the buffs. I think I talked about it last week as well. I'm not 100% sure, but after the buffs, Xinzhao has received. He's a lot stronger, in my opinion, at least. I think in everybody's opinion, because of his, mostly because of the fact that his W is a very long range gap closer now, combined with his E, of course, which does make it a lot more easy for Xin to gank, to get towards his targets. And, you know, for the rest, his ult is still as strong as it used to be. You can't hit him from outside of the blade sweep or whatever it's called, as we do see Volibear Kai'Sa being picked up and Xayah going to be the return ADC being picked up by Northern Lions, as they do take away Wukong from the top lane of 7 AM.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised that he didn't went for Draven, because we see in our preparation that he plays a very, very mean Draven. So picking up the Kai'Sa means that they are scared of the engage from 7am. And of course, Kai'Sa, one of the better champions to get away from sticky situations, just like Kai'Sa with that ultimate, able to do so much there. And the last bans are coming out. It's of course one of those heavy engage supports being focused again. Probably gonna be the Nautilus banned away from Adampt, so that basically leaves the Leona open here.
Yeah, basically Leona, indeed, as you said, leaving that open. Of course, Rel is still there as well. Can still be used as a Rise taken away from Northern Lions. We do see Need for Sleep likes to play a couple scaling mid laners, Rise and Nivea, even Victor's in there as well. Silas has been taken away from him as well, so Victor is still open for him. Anivia, Kiana even. Of course, they do have a lot of AD on the side of Northern Lions, so not necessarily expecting Kiana to come through, as it's only mid lane and support having to be picked up, as Braum also being taken away from Dr. Token.
You know what I see?
Leona.
I see Leona, of course, that was a given, but I see the bans and I don't see Kassadin anywhere. Do you think Flyknit is gonna go for it again? For the people that watched last week, we saw him play a very mean Kassadin in the first game, and after that I believe it was banned at least in one game to make sure that doesn't happen again. But it is open here, so they could go for it if they really want to have that extreme heavy mid lane scaling.
Yeah, Flyknit could go Kassadin, but that would mean that Akali would have to go top lane, and I don't think we've seen a lot of that lately. It's mostly the mid lane. Alistair being picked up here. Set going to be the last pick, top lane for Team 7am, and now we're expecting the mid laner, of course, for Need for Sleep, for Northern Lions to come through. Something like an Anivia could come through, then they have a hard scaling into the late game.
Victor's
with
amazing as well.
Their carries, and Victor would be really good here as well. It is, however, gonna look like the Anivia will be picked up. Gonna scale into the late game together with Xayah, really strong ADC in the late game, as Anivia does get locked in to complete both comps here.
We haven't seen that much Anivia in the Open Tour, and I believe in general in pro play as well. However, she did get a really big buff at the start of the season. Her ultimate cooldown actually was significantly lowered, meaning that when she gets interrupted, she can recast it a lot faster. And before that it was kind of a death sentence, being able to interrupt her mid-fight. I mean, she lost so much damage that it's basically over for her. But of course, Anivia scales very well into the late game, does so much damage once he gets those mana items, and yeah, I believe it's a solid pick against a comp that wants to engage with the zone control with the wall. Can definitely do something against the draft from 7am.
There's a lot of looking to engage on the side of Team 7am, especially with the Alistair, of course, as the first engage. Even Set can counter-engage if Leona finds a pick on someone or finds a jump in, or even Xin Zhao finds a jump in as well. Set can, of course, always push them out with that showstopper, or he can start looking for flanks once he gets level 6 and is able to roam around the map a little bit. It's going to be... We'll have to see what 7am is going to do with that exactly. Both teams have a scale in AD. They have, of course, Anivia scaling really hard into the late game. Akali can one-shot the Xayah or the Anivia later on. What do we expect in this mid lane matchup? Akali, Anivia. Anivia wants to farm. Akali wants some kills. What are we going to see?
Anivia has a strangely far auto-attack range. And that means that she does fairly well into these melee matchups because she can farm from far away. She has the stun to block Akali, since she usually goes in one line. So I feel like Anivia should be okay, should be safe, especially after level 6 when she can just clear the wave away. It's just really important for him to make sure that Akali isn't free roaming everywhere. Because once that ball gets rolling, I mean, everyone who watched LEC knows, how do I describe this with a little bit of tact? Akali is a very strong champion at the moment. When she gets a kill, the game is probably over.
Yeah, she's... once she gets the kill or two, she can really start snowballing from there. Of course, as you said, Anivia is pretty okay in zoning and keeping people away from her. So she should be fine with keeping Akali at bay. Of course, if she does manage to hit the E dash in, there's still the stun of Anivia. She still has a wall, of course, the slow on her ult. So there's a lot that Anivia can do to keep Akali away from her. However, of course, Akali, one of those champions with big outplay potentials. Although sometimes it doesn't really look like they're very outplayed potentially. They just look like people bash.
So sometimes it feels a little bit unfair when you play against Akali. She always gets away, she always does so much damage, and for some reason when she gets away it's at 1 HP, which is even worse. Because
it's terrible, it's the worst.
Should have died, didn't die.
She should be grounded forever.
At the moment, the players are, of course, redoing the draft in the client, and we'll have a small waiting delay of 3 minutes after that, which gives us the perfect time to kind of discuss the group that 7am is going to play in today. After that, we're, of course, going to theorize a little bit more about these drafts. But for the people that didn't see it last week, I'm going to show you. This is the current scoring of the Open Tour. Only the teams that made it into the round of 16 actually received points, and we can see that 2 of the teams that are in Group G, the group that they are playing now, are in this bracket. So Moosh Gaming is, I feel like, the top favorite in the group that 7am is playing right now. They managed to beat KV Mechelen Academy last time around in the
finals.
In the quarterfinals, half finals.
Yes, quarterfinals.
And of course, 7am lost against KV Mechelen. So, on paper, Moosh Gaming should make it out first place in this group, and 7am should come second at least. So we should be able to make it here out of this group into the round of 16 again. But of course, that depends on the other 2 teams in the bracket as well.
Yes, exactly. The other 2 teams being, of course, the ones they're playing now, being Northern Lions, and then later on today, Connecting Esports as well. Northern Lions did go 0-3 in their group last week. Connecting Esports went 1-2, if I'm not mistaken. So they should be easier opponents for Team 7M, but of course there's always the power of the underdog buff, where you know there can always be an upset. Team 7M is gonna have to be careful if if they overextend it or get too aggressive, too cocky. Then of course the guys on connecting esports and Northern Lions could take advantage of it and maybe make a little bit of an upset here.
Yeah,
today.
and that's of course the thing. Usually in any sport where you are put in a group, you have like the team that you should win against, you have the team you should lose against, and then you have the team in the middle. Right now, 7am Academy is gonna play Northern Lions Esports, who is on paper the team they should win against. Which does mean that it is super important that they win, because if they lose against this team, you kind of have to calculate a really hard game to win against Moose Gaming, and the most close game should be against Connecting Esports, because they're the two middle teams in this group. So we're gonna have to see how this goes. If they lose, it's gonna be hard, but 7am should be able to get this game in the bag.
Yeah, first game should definitely be theirs, especially because they have Akali.
It's basically
Which should help them out.
already nailed that win. Well,
so they should be fine here.
I'm not sure if it's that easy. I do feel like it's also a bit of the meta at the moment, that Akali is really strong. A lot of people, and we see it on the international stage, but also in an average game, not many people play champions with hard, easy crowd control these days, I feel. It's always the Yones or the Yasuos or anything like that, or Corki or Tristana on the mid lane. They're very good in their own regard, but Akali gets countered by those easy to land CC chains, which is not possible when you pick those champions, of course. Anivia does have CC, she does have the stun on the Q, of course, but we'll have to see if Need for Sleep is able to land those on the right times.
Be important to see. Of course, he is really an Anivia player. Really likes the Ice Bird of Death, or Doom, or Destiny. Ooh, Destiny? That sounds like someone with a lisp. Never mind. Let's not go there.
Will die to the
Bed of Destiny.
Destiny. Yes, exactly.
No, so he really likes the Ice Bird, the Anivia. So it should be, with Akali being as flavor of the month as she is right now, probably has played against it a couple of times as well. So should be, kind of knowing what's going on. Whereas Flyknit, I don't know how often you encounter an Anivia in solo queue, for example, even in pro play. So that matchup for him might be a little bit more difficult, or at least a little more new, as we are in loading screen, getting really close to this first game between Team 7am and Northern Lions.
Yeah, and if you would take away the names of these teams, I know 7am, you don't know that they're the favorite in this matchup, let's just say. Which draft do you give the edge of these two teams?
I kind of like Northern Lions draft, aside from the fact that, as I said, the 7am has Akali, which is really strong. But because of the Lee Sin top, which is really coming into play a lot more, because it has shown to be very strong. They have the late game with the Anivia and the Xayah, which they do need to get to, however. If they don't manage to go even to late game or get ahead into the late game, it's going to be, I think, really difficult for them to get there, as their carries really need a couple items and some levels. So depending on that, it could go either way, of course, but I just, me personally, I like Northern Lions composition, because it's a little bit different than the standard picks we see. Also, I'm just a fan of Xin Zhao, Lee Sin, and Anivia, so maybe a bit biased.
Alright, that being said, we are on the Rift. Everyone is putting up their defenses here for this first game of the Open Tour today between 7am Academy and Northern Lions Esports. Also, of course, if there is anything with the sound, something is too loud, something is too soft, let me know on the chat, and then we'll be able to fix it so this stream is as optimal for you guys as possible.
We're doing full production today as well, as we are indeed on the Rift. Both teams going for the Great Wall of China, the defensive start, the we're not gonna invade moves, all very classic. Nothing too crazy gonna happen. Of course, we don't have any hooks, we don't have any crazy level 1 engage possibilities with things like Nautilus, Rel, all those things. So both teams just deciding to sit there, as Elijah is also showing off his abs to all of us here. Set versus Lee Sin, top lane. Our top lane connoisseur, Bobo Joe. What are we saying about this matchup?
It's definitely a skill matchup. Both champions are so good at dueling and putting pressure in the lane. Lee Sin is strong just because he can basically free trade you with his E, like he does now. He just smacks it down. Elijah can't really hit him because he's out of range. But of course, Seth, he can take that poke because he has the passive, he has the extra health regen on him, and once he is able to get Lee Sin, he can interrupt him with the phase breaker if he wants to jump away. And yeah, just Seth does so much damage while being super tanky, especially with the buff on his Haymaker. He is a contender to win this matchup, but we can see Lee getting the level 2 first. They are going ham very early though.
Ooh, there's gonna be some fighting back and forth as Elijah and Tofikadel, who might be a really nice guy, by the way. Alright, battling it out here. Of course, something we see in top lane a lot, right? There's a lot of back and forth, a lot of no you, punch in your face, no punch in your face. Good face breaker here by Elijah, finding a lot of damage here as Need for Sleep might be in trouble. Good wall though, so Obi is gonna run after him. Voidhopper is there to save the day, however, otherwise we could have maybe seen a kill. Flash from Obi is down though, so that's a big one.
Yeah, of course, you do not want to overcommit that early on the Nivea, because the egg is available. Not gonna be able to bag that one up that easily, and Tofikadel needs to flash in the top lane already. Elijah doing this so well, and that's of course the strength of a set. When you trade with the Lee Sin, you are able to recover some health back, and he isn't really able to do that right now. It doesn't have any sustain like Core Drinker or such. So yeah, he has it in the shield, I guess, but not as much as the set. And they are fighting for the scuttle here.
Yeah, we might see the first little brawl going down here as Obi is gonna go down first, but it's for Tofikadel. Lee Sin picking that one up. And there was no more flash on the bear. Now Elijah gonna go low as well. Still has his Haymaker. Oh, a lot of damage, but Voidhopper's still alive, and that's 3 kills. 1 for top lane, 1 for mid lane, and 1 for the jungler. Northern Lions pulling ahead early, and this could help them scale into the late game.
And this was a disastrous contest for that scuttle, of course. Northern Lions Esports were faster in the river. They had more people there, and 7M kind of came late to the party, eventually giving up 3 people, not getting anything in return, and that puts a serious goal deficit on the board already. Meanwhile, Tofikadel might be in trouble here. Obi is there. Yeah, he's not gonna survive this one.
He is gonna go down. Went for a little battle. Was losing all the trades actually against Elijah. Hadn't based yet, I think, after that little brawl in the river either, and continued to go for little trades with Seth, which kind of I don't know, maybe a bit cocky, and it eventually does go down. Obi picking that one up. It's got to be good for his ego to get back into the game a little bit.
So I want to talk about Voidhopper here for a second, because he's playing as Xin Zhao. He's 1-0-2, so he's ahead. He can try to make this big snowball. When I see a Xin Zhao, I usually see them just going full on damage, and it is insane when they jump on someone. They pretty much delete you within a few seconds. Do you think this is the build that Voidhopper is gonna go as well, or are there other options for the Xin Zhao here?
There's of course the bruiser options for Xin Zhao. He might even, because of the buffs on Divine Sunder, I think Xin Zhao works okay with that as well. So it could go for Divine Sunder here, which does a lot of damage and gives him Just a little bit more tankiness, a little bit more survivability, which I kind of like on things like the Xin Zhao. I don't think he'd go Eclipse in this game. Doesn't look like he will with the Phage first pickup. As Northern Lions moving towards this first dragon of the game as well.
First dragon is of course the Cloud Dragon, giving you that juicy cooldown reduction on those ultimates. Also means that we will not have a Cloud Rift, which is definitely a value, because it is the, let's say, the weakest soul that you could get, debatably. It is also a mountain dragon for the next one, which means we will definitely have a good rift, and there is a huge fight in bot lane coming out.
They're looking for an engage, but Hopper picks Alamed up instantly almost as Sono now needs to get out there. Obi was just too late, dancing in the wings though. Classic bear. Top lane little brawl as well.
Lions being able to pick up the 4th kill for them of this game, in succession to getting that first dragon as well. So they are playing this game very fast paced. They are not showing that they are the underdogs in this match, and bot lane going for it again, but Obi is here this time.
This time he...
So much damage.
So much damage, but it's not going to be enough. My directed camera is screwing with me as it does eventually go to the bot lane. Monarch going to go really low. He is going to go down as the Alistar is there for the punch. Sono's going to do the damage, but now Hopper is there as well. The same for Flyknit. He is gonna maybe pick up Hopper. Is it going to be enough? Probably just not. As the bot lane from Northern Lions does eventually go down. That's a couple kills for Team 7M.
7M answering that play very well. It was necessary in the bot lane because Escalant, he shows that he knows how to play Xayah. The pullback on the feathers, so much damage on both the bot laners, as well as Obi there with Volibear. He's having a rough time. Usually when I see Volibear, he is very tanky, but Northern Lions show that that doesn't have to be the case here.
Ooh, and Need for Sleep showing that he knows how to play that bird. He knows how to keep people at bay. He was waiting with the wall really long until Obi was pretty close to him, then just puts it in between them. A Hex Flash from Alamed gonna come through here. Not gonna be enough to get in range, however. As Need for Sleep playing really well, getting out. Up in farm, up in kills. If this continues, then it's looking A-okay for Northern Lions.
By the way, is it Adamet or is it Adamt?
I'm going for Adamed because there's a capital M there. So I'm splitting it in two. Hex Flash going to be channeled here. Monarch, they're both on top of each other. Double knock up here from Alistar. Then the Solar Flare going to come down. Not going to be enough. Not even close to being enough. Obi going to pick that one up. Escalante blown up. Monarch going to be in trouble. They do disable the turret here with the ultimate from Volibear. They're going to bite down on Monarch. Is it going to be enough? Obi picking that one up as well. Tanking it. He's tanky. He's a bear. He disables turrets. He kills people. Sure, let's go. Volibear picking up 2 kills for himself here. As Flyknit gonna go low.
Third is no safe haven when you are being dove by a Volibear and Alistar, of course. Meanwhile, the interrupt from Elijah, well played. It does show what you can do in this matchup against the Lee Sin. Verkerel is 1-1 and 2, so it does have some room to with some CS. It's fine for him. The goal difference will not be that huge. We can check it as well here.
Yeah, Verkerel and
almost equal.
Elijah in the top lane basically equal because of the kill here, and now they find the stun onto Flying. He's gonna go low. Whoa, Void Hopper just not gonna be close enough to hit his W. The tip of the spear does not connect. Probably one of the best voice lines in game, in my opinion, as Obi is gonna be in the mid lane. Knock up from Alamed. Great stun here by the Need for Sleep beast, as 7M needs to disengage. What a stun.
Yeah, it's what we talked about in the draft as well. If he can hit that CC, there's gonna be so many options, and they did draft it for it. They know that 7am is gonna wanna engage with that composition, with the Volibear, with the Alistar, and them having that zone control with the Anivia is so important for them right now. We'll have to wait and see, because 7am and Northern Lions, they kind of drafted the same sort of top laner. They both want to flank, they both want to come into the back and kick or showstop someone into your own team. And we'll have to see who will eventually do that the best, because you can't peel backwards if there is a set in your back. And that is basically what 7M will want to be doing at the end, because you can already see how hard it is to engage on the Anivia.
Very difficult indeed to get onto the Anivia. She has the boots of swiftness as well. She's gonna run away a little bit quicker, or run towards you, I guess. But most of the time she'll probably be running away. 2-0-2 Xin Zhao as well. He's gonna have to do some more work here early on in this game to help his team ahead. They were quite far ahead. 7M gonna come back though. Mountain Drake has spawned now.
I also like the Anivia pick in theory, that you can put your ultimate down once Akali is in the Shroud and kind of block her from completely using that space. But of course the Shroud's so huge, you can always find a corner to hide in, but that does mean that yeah, Northern Alliance, they are just picking up the second Drake of the game uncontested, and we have an Ocean Rift, which definitely increases the value of the 2 Drakes that they have already.
That Phase Breaker was max range, really close. Tofakela gonna juke the Haymark at the end, and he's actually gonna jump back in. Not sure if that's the best. Showstopper coming down, get dunked on. Tofakela biting off, I was gonna say a bit more than he can chew, but it was way more.
Yeah, it was one of those moments like...
It was almost close.
What Dino talked about this week on the Dutch League, where you say, my mind's telling me no, but my body...
Yes. Exactly.
And yeah, he went in and he gave a kill.
Yeah, his body should have told him no as well. Herald pop in the mid lane. Voidhopper going way too greedy. He's not going to be able to get out of this one. Uses the ultimate to try to do so. But wow, that was greedy. Not a good call by him. As top lane turret might go down, just not in time. Elijah now still in the top lane. He's half HP. Of course, this could be a kill for Tofakela, but look at the damage from Seth.
He has the kick.
It doesn't matter. He needs to kick him away. Wow, Seth. Sure.
Yeah, Seth is becoming a beefy boy, and he can mitigate so much damage with that Haymaker if he is able to use that skill correctly, which he has not been having a problem with this game so far. Meanwhile, that play on the bot lane, yeah, Voidhopper being a little bit too far forward, got caught out. Eventually, it's Obi that picks up his 4th kill of the game, and that is a little bit unfortunate because ideally you really want to see it on Flyknit at the moment. If he can get that Akali pick rolling, they are gonna be able to put their mark on this game. However, if you look at the kills, if you look at the gold, 7M definitely came back from that disastrous early play at the Scuttle River on top. But of course, 2 Drakes for Northern Alliance Esports. We'll have to see how they will contest that 3rd one.
Yeah, they really came back into this game, 7M, after a bit of a misstep in the topside river, as you said. Of course, most of the kills and most of the biggest gold mount basically is on Volibear, and of course Seth as well. And that's kind of a problem. Once Seth gets going, he can really take so much damage with the Haymaker. He does way too much damage as well. It's going to be really difficult, and Lee Sin at this point, going to be hard to actually find anything in these team fights.
Yeah, he will be basically the kick bot, where he just needs to find that one key target and really eliminate it before the fight breaks out. So we'll have to see if he's able to do that, because he's not as tanky as he would want to be, even though Gordrinker really does help him out a lot. Just feel like Elijah at this point will be able to get more value out of his pick with the Stride Breaker as well. So strong on set and on all these juggernauts in general, of course. Really counteracting their weakness of being immobile without a really gap closer. Well, they are pinging him mid. Need for Sleep needs to watch out.
Need for Sleep does get engaged on stun coming through onto Alamed. It's not, of course, the one you want to catch out, and this is going to be a big fight. Solar Flare going to come through, gets juked by Volibear, jumps away. Monarch going to go down. Sono picking that one up now. Hopper is going to be in a lot of trouble. World of Hurt for him. He's going to be going down. Lissin is going to come in with the shield. It's enough! It's Hopper! It's insane! It is enough! Oh, he does go down. Eventually, as now Sono and Akali flying it, and his AD gonna be able to pick up Lee Sin eventually. Once again, a little bit too greedy by Tofikedo at the end there. But yeah, a huge play actually there by Northern Lions, but 7am coming on top by a lot.
And even though Northern Lions Esports lose that fight, I do need to acknowledge the positioning of Need for Sleep there. He really made sure that his Anivia pick was safe, that he could use that ultimate in the corridors, which is just what you want with that pick. But of course he hasn't finished his mythic yet, he doesn't have Lyandras, and that would have been the game changer in that fight, would have given him so much more damage, but he chose to go for the early items, the Dorans, the Dark Seal, the Tear, and the upgraded Booch, which of course is a huge gold sink in the end. And really lacks the damage, but this might be round 2.
This is round 2. Alaman gonna go really low. Escalante picking that one up with his eye, but look at the damage from Kaiser. It's gonna be enough flying. He's picking that one up. Voidhopper's gonna jump back into the backline. He knows he's gonna die. He does eventually. That's a double kill for the account. This is gonna be very disastrous.
Oh, messy.
And Lions, very annoying for them. And only Anivia once again getting out of this fight. And this is gonna be Drake number 1 for 7am this game.
And it's so important for 7am that they win this one and that they're able to get this dragon. If Northern Lions was able to pick this one up, they would have been on soul point, and that is of course a spot where you can pressure the enemy into a contest which might not be able for them at that point in time. So this gives 7am a little bit more room to play the game with. If it's not ideal to contest the next one, they are able to give it up. Or they're, of course, a little bit closer to the soul themselves.
Sorry about that. I had a little bit of a sneeze getting ready there. Of course, we
sneeze attack.
Sneeze attack. Northern Lions is a little bit behind at this point. 3k gold, 3.5 more or less k gold deficit. It's gonna be still very possible for them to win, however, with the Anivia, with the Zaya, as we talked about in the beginning. If they do get into the late game, they're going to do so much damage, but there's a lot of mobility as well on the side of 7am, with Kaiser being able to jump in with the ultimate or out even. Now they find an engage here, unstoppable. Obi jumping out of that one. 7am doesn't want any part of this. Great wall there. Obi going to be picked off, shut down for Zaya. A lot of gold going her way. Great pick by Northern Lions.
Obi needs to use a Stormbringer defensively there, gets CC'd anyway and dies, and of course that's the jungler down, meaning that Herald is basically for free for Northern Lions right now. A good comeback for them, because they are falling behind. You got Elijah not being able to get that phase breaker off. Need for Sleep holding that safe distance for him, and Elijah might be in trouble. Definitely a little bit dominance asserted here in the bot lane.
Yeah, that's one of those things. If you don't reach the Anivia with Set the first time around, you're not going to reach her anymore because you just don't have any gap closers aside from Stride Breaker into Phase Breaker. But if you whiff it, Anivia is just going to wither you down slowly, especially with the burn on Lyandra's Torment, of course. Building a lot of burn here.
And of course, Elijah will be looking for that key showstopper in these fights. Really needs to find the Need for Sleep. He is the carry at the moment. Obi getting engaged on again.
Oh, he does get engaged on, but they find Voidhopper. Look how long he survives. He does go down eventually, and now Seth is part of the story as well. Escalante is gonna go down. Look at Anivia running for the hill. Stofikedo, last one alive. Kicks Elijah into his bird. What? He eventually does survive, however. The Anivia gets out, Leona gets out. They thought they had a pick, but it was the bamboozle. They turned it around.
Yeah, last time when they engaged on Obi, he was basically alone. There was no retaliation possible. Now Need for Sleep is gonna fall here. Does have the egg, but yeah, of course, no one to help you there. First death for him, which is commendable since he has been in a lot of fights so far. But eventually the Icebird goes down, and it is 18 kills to 10 in favor of 7am Academy here. They are leading this game with almost 5k gold.
It's so insane how much work Elijah is doing on this set. He's just jumping in, tanking a lot of damage, using those haymakers. Yes, that's the word. He's using the haymakers really well to soak up even more damage. Obi's just running around in the front, being a nuisance. Hi, I'm a tank. And then Sono can just basically run behind his team, do damage, pick up kills. He's 5-1 and 9, this Kai'Sa. And he's not really, not to take away from his performance, but he's just following up on what his team is doing at this point.
And if we look at the game right now, we can see that 7am, they have a solid lead. They are in a good position. But if I only look at the numbers, it's still very much possible for Northern Lions to come back. The thing that worries me the most is the 4-1 and 4 Akali with 10 Magi stacks at this point. Which puts those numbers in an all other perspective, because you just know what the champion can do. And we'll see if Flyknit is able to make the enemy cry, and me as a caster maybe as well, because the champion is just so incredibly strong that if it makes another week without a hotfix, I don't know what we have to cast in these games anymore.
Yeah, Akali's gonna be a nuisance in a lot of these games today. Flyknit doing really well on this Akali right now as well.
Engages here.
Solar Flare on Obi once again, not the one you want. Triple knock up there by Adamed, and they're gonna disengage here. Northern Lions didn't find what they wanted to, and a smart disengage eventually by them. Drake is up, however.
Obi did have to use the ultimate there, so they did get something out. The Herald is walking down mid, so they do have pressure, but it is Flyknit that goes in.
Flyknit goes in, gets caught out. Sonias is gonna go through. He gets out eventually with hardly any HP. Escalante, we're gonna have to watch him here because he's gonna be able to do a lot of damage as Monarch is gonna go down really quickly. My mind's telling me no. My body's probably telling me no as well. Tofikato, I'm not gonna go in this time.
My team is yelling no at me.
Tofikato finds the Q connect. It's not gonna be enough. Drake number 2 gonna go towards 7am here. As Flyknit's still pretty low. Now Elijah gonna go in, is the face breaker. Look how much damage! Lee Sin, you're not tanky enough for that. They don't use the popcorn. Of course, they have the Anivia once again. Good positioning by the bird. They're running away. Look at the chase here. Obi's gonna go through. Great stun. A lot of damage. Now 7M might be looking at Baron here.
Need for sleep, trying to keep this game alive, but it is so hard. The fight, it was close. They almost were able to pick up Flyknit, but as we talked about, Akali just always gets away with 1 HP in those fights. Because the mobility and her utility that she's able to use there, it's just too much. And yeah, 7M, they are able to win the fight, and it's just not only the Akali they need to worry about at this point. Elijah is so huge on this set, able to be the front line that he needs to be, and of course besides that you also have Obi and Alistar who make it impossible to go through, giving Sono so much space to play AD carry this game, which is lovely because AD carries have it hard enough already. 8-1 in 9 on the Kai'Sa.
It's more than enough stats for a Kai'Sa to be able to take over the game. Of course, a 3-1 and 7 set and 4-1 and 7 Akali are gonna help a lot as well. Have to give props to Alamed as well on this. Alistar finds quite a couple multi-champion knockups this game, which of course sets up the rest of the team to be able to do so much damage. Have the AoE with the Kai'Sa Q, with the Akali Q as well. Showstopper can come through. So Alamed putting down a good performance. Now they're hanging around Baron to see maybe if they can set up a little trap, a little bait here.
Yeah, this is the dead brush that they want to use, but I have a feeling that they will start lacking the damage to kill Obi fast enough. He had a little bit of a rough spot at the early game where he got taken down a few times, but now he's getting a fairly tanky bear. And it is mostly the continuous damage that is there in the kit of the comp for the Northern Lions. Meanwhile, Baron is being started by 7M. I'm not sure if they know here. They're also split on the map.
I think they do know. They put down the pink ward. They're definitely aware. Teleport from Anivia gonna come through as well. 7M gonna have to stop doing this Baron. Don't have enough vision behind the pit to continue this. And something that's noteworthy maybe is the fact that 7am doesn't really have any or a lot of magic resist on the board, which makes Nivea, of course, a bit stronger. Also 16 Magi stacks on Akali. I don't wanna.
Yeah, meanwhile, Flyknit in the split, not really contested, of course. Need for Sleep had to teleport to make sure that Baron wasn't being done, but now they need to make a choice. Are you backing for Akali? Are you starting the Baron itself? It is a big flip, but I feel like Northern Lions need to do something
Teleport.
here, but oh, it's a collapse from all sides.
Teleport from Akali coming in from the back as well, flashes over the wall. Look at this, it's just a wombo combo stomp in the middle. However, this is going pretty even at this point. Flyknit is going to go low. He does use the Zon. Is this going to be enough? He survives eventually. Yes, he does eventually survive. Oh my god, 7am is going to win the fight cleanly. They only lose Obi, that's all there is. There was just so much going on in the middle. Akali, how do you survive that? Riftmaker, 25 Magi stacks, Baron buff. 7am, this is your game to lose.
It is so hard for Northern Lions to focus one target down just because they have that AoE, they have that continuous damage. I did see a Need for Sleep keeping that ultimate rolling throughout that fight constantly, but they just can't kill someone. If you focus Alistar, he ults. If you focus Set, he uses the Haymaker. If you focus Volibear, he ults, he becomes really big. Akali pushes Shroud down. Kai'Sa can reposition with the ult. It's so incredibly hard to get those picks against this comp, especially when you're behind, because there was a moment in this game where I felt like Northern Lions would be able to scale fast enough to get the edge in these fights, but you can just see the way that 7am Academy is playing here. It is just on another level.
Yeah, they're playing it's just better than Northern Lions. Another kick here in top lane to just get rid of Set. No, go away, stop bullying me. I don't want to play with you. Void Hopper, however, in the top lane has been spotted. Not going to be able to take down Set. Probably could even 1v2 them at this point.
Yeah, he's a very strong boy, has the gargoyles of course, so if he gets low and he has already used the Haymaker shield, he can put another huge shield on top of him, which makes that problem that Northern Lions has with finishing champions even worse.
Yes, exactly.
Problem that Northern Lions has with finishing champions even worse.
Yes, exactly. Even worse. Akali is still going to be in the split push here, 5-1 and 10. 25 Magi stacks Akali. I don't think there's anything you can really do about that. Unless you find a pick on her, 1v4, 1v5 her. It's going to be difficult at this point to actually pin her down. She's just going to do so much damage. They're going to look for another little bit of a bait here. However, Northern Lions should know not to run out of their base at all at this point.
Yeah, if we could draw a line on the map here, then the whole jungle is 7am Academy's jungle right now. There is no reason that you need to go there. It's not your property anymore. Northern Lions, stay in your base as long as you can and yeah, stall the game, I guess. I mean, they really started off well with the 2 Drakes, but you can see 7am being on soul point as well right now. So fast in this game. So the next one they will need to contest if they want to have any hope of winning this game. It's already really hard with the 11k gold deficit that they have, but yeah, scaling is your only option, even though you are against the Akali and the Kai'Sa, who don't scale bad either, let's say.
Yeah, they scale pretty well, especially a 10, 1 and 11 Kai'Sa. Already has 4 items complete. The 5th one is on the way, has the Last Whisper built in there as well for taking down a little bit more tankiness in the Lee Sin, in the Leona. Gonna not really have a lot of trouble doing damage this game. So much damage built into this entire team at this point. And yeah, Northern Lions, not sure if there's anything they can really do. They could still win team fights with the comp they have, except for the fact that their front line isn't really a front line.
It could have been if Toffe Kerel was able to win this matchup against Elijah, but of course we all saw that it was not the case here. There is hope, they do have some wombo combo potential with this lineup, but it's just gonna be hard. I even believe that if they get the wombo off on multiple people, and preferably of course on Flyknit and Sono, maybe they can win. But I mean, full stack Magi, so Sonya, it's gonna be really difficult. Guardian Angel.
It's gonna be really hard to take anyone down completely on the side of 7am. As you said, there's the Zhonya on Akali, there's the Riftmaker with 25 Magi stacks. We have a Guardian Angel on Kai'Sa. Sono here gonna just revive after being taken down, if he gets taken down at all, that is. And then you just have 3 big tanks in your face. And 2 of those tanks do a lot of damage as well. And it's up to you to decide which of those 3 do damage. Hint, it's not the cow.
Yeah, we can also see a little bit difference in the levels, so not 2 levels over Escalante. Elijah as well, 2 levels over his counterpart and Flyknit, almost level 18 on the Akali, and it's just such a dreadful situation to be in. We'll have to see if they can make the best of it. I do think that we can commend Northern Lions for the way that they have been playing this game. They did show some strong pointers in the early game, where they were not afraid to fight a team that is supposed to be better on paper than them. But eventually it is catching up to them. 7am Academy playing this game very well, and I feel like they're just looking for the final nail in the coffin for Northern Lions here.
Northern Lions are looking for maybe a little bit of a bait. They're pinging on top of them though, so they kind of know where they are. And you can be pretty sure.
I do say that it's the right call, because they do need to do something here.
It's gonna be a face shake by Elijah. He doesn't care at all. They had a perfect guess there, and Northern Lions is gonna go low, is gonna go down. There's nothing they can do here. And Nivea, Escalante wasn't even there yet. And they're just gonna continue here. Featherstorm gonna come through. Good flash by him. Now Need for Sleep really needs to get out of this one. Jump in by the bear. No, the wall gets placed poorly this time. Need for Sleep, however, knows it's an Nivea flash stun. Is it gonna be enough eventually? The egg is still up. They find Obi. As teleport from Akali is going to come down here as well. Stun this time. Meanwhile, the rest of 7am pushing down the bottom lane turret, pushing down the bottom lane inhibitor. This is more or less game over. However, 7am playing by the book. Not going to go too greedy here and then.
Yeah, they do see the timer for Monarch. Probably scared of getting CC'd by him and Need for Sleep. Could have ended, but they want to play it very safe, but Elijah might be caught here if they can get to him. Yes, try to break it up, can do a little dash and gets out, as he has been doing very well this game. Only died once here on the set.
Yeah. Apparently they're gonna be taking away the dash on Stride Breaker soon. Next patch or the patch after. So
yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna be built as often as it is now.
I don't think so. It just makes the balancing for champions like the Darius, the Sett, Garen really hard. And they do get it here. The Desperation Baron works.
Going for an insane play on Baron. Look how long Elijah's surviving though. He does manage to go down eventually. Now Obi's gonna be the one being focused, but the flying it dashing over the map. Toffe Kerel gonna go into the backline. Is it gonna be enough? Not at all. It was, it's a quadra kill even. Teleport gonna come in here as well. Gonna be cancelled somehow. Don't know what happened there. Flying it dashed out of his own teleport, something like that. I have no idea what happened there. Anyway, great try by Northern Lions. They said, guys, they're not in position. We can go for this Baron, try and get out afterwards. But Sett was just so tanky. Eventually 7am being able to win the fight, win the game. Nexus goes down. 7am, game 1 is theirs.
So well played by 7am Academy and also Northern Lions. We cannot underestimate what they did here. When you're behind in a game like this, so much gold behind, and you still find ways to do proactive plays and not just sit and wait for the end to come. No, they say, guys, we need to do something. We put up a dead brush, we start a Baron. in a hopeless situation, I feel like this team has a lot of potential to grow and become stronger and a threat in the Open Tour if they work on their, of course, small mistakes. But in this case, 7M Academy was just the better team. They played it out as they should. And maybe next game an Akali ban from their opponent? Don't know.
Possibly indeed. The Caliban could be very well necessary here, as it's clearly a strong pick. It's interesting the fact that it was not taken away. It was also first picked, of course, by 7AM. Maybe not expected by Northern Lions. However, it's it was shown to be pretty strong here. This game once again didn't do the most damage at all, though. Most damage in the game was from Sono's Kai'Sa. Next was actually Anivia, followed by Zaya, then Set, and fifth most damage in the entire game was Akali, despite having 25 Magi stacks relatively soon in the game. So,
Yeah.
I mean, props to the rest of the guys, and very much props to Northern Lions as well for being able to pump that off.
It definitely was not a solo carry game here. We're gonna go out for just a small break because we will be back in a few minutes with an interview with Sono, who is gonna tell us all about he managed to get this Kai'Sa on 14-1-14 in the game. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.